Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
We are so glad that everybody's been able to join us. Always nice to see our returning folks and then some of the new folks that are joining us for the first time. So glad to have everybody here. And we are going to go ahead and get started to just guard everybody's time to let you know we will be recording tonight's presentation, and it will be available on our tools and tips page. So we will have that for everyone. As Sarah just put in the chat, please put your name and affiliation in the chat so that Connie can put that in our record so we know who all was in attendance. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So First Nations Launch Rocket Competition 2022. Next slide. So a quick overview. We'll do welcome and introductions, competition overview, reports and scoring, prizes and awards, recruitment, resources, reimbursements, patch contest, IMFNL, and I forgot to add one extra thing, and that would be resources. So next, so the team, Wisconsin Space Grant Consortium, there we go again, we found another mistake early on. Consortium is the host of the First Nations Launch program. Our director is, you know what? Sarah, I don't think you have the right one up. Let's switch to me, if you don't mind. My apologies, everybody. For some reason, that's okay. I just think it's not the one that we wanted. Go. I'm just seeing errors that I fixed, I thought. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. All right, here we go. Here we are. So Wisconsin Space Grant Consortium, Kevin Crosby is our director. I am the assistant director, Christine Bowles, and also the project coordinator for First Nations Launch. Sarah Parker, our project coordinator, wave hi. Connie Engberg, project support assistant. And Megan Goller is not on with us, but she is our accounts assistant and helps with some of the reimbursement payouts that you guys will be submitting later on in this semester. First Nations Launch, we have Frank Noble returning with us, our technical coordinator, and Wisconsin Tripoli Prefecture. Genevieve Benali, project assistant from Raytheon down in Arizona. Mark Abatasaway, advisor liaison with Spirit Aerosystems, and he also is an alumni. Joining us from Tripoli Rocketry Association is Bob Justice. He will be assisting us this year. And then we have our judges. So for Mars, we have Joe Connolly, Orson John, Jeremy Danny, Aaron Watson. For Moon, we have, where am I? We have Aaron Yazzie, Lauren Denson, James Wood, and Christian Riggs. And then for Gateway, which is what you guys are going to be participating in, we have all of the judges. Participation will be optional. We'll have Frank Noble, Genevieve and Mark Abatasaway will be giving you your feedback. And then from NASA, our contact is Shanessa Jackson from the FNL Activity Manager at KSC. So, well, this is just crazy. What is going on with my screens? Everybody hold on one second and show, and why? Huh. I'm having an issue with my slide deck and I'm not sure why, so I really do apologize.
Want me to go ahead?
What's
You want me to
go
go
ahead,
ahead?
Connie?
No,
Yes,
kind of
please.
Jumbled up a little bit. Okay, so in the Gateway Challenge with all of you who are on is College of Menominee Nation from Wisconsin, Fond du Lac Tribal Community College from Minnesota, Leech Lake Tribal College from Minnesota, Little Bighorn College from Montana, and new with us is Northern Oklahoma College from Oklahoma.
Let's see if this is better. There you go, Connie.
Okay, Moon Challenge teams this year. We have Colorado School of Mines, who's back with us again from Colorado, Lakota Ray from Wisconsin, Navajo Tech, which is a new school with us from New Mexico, University of California, Davis from California, University of Colorado, Boulder, who are back with us again from Colorado, and University of Hawaii, Manoa. And then the Mars Challenge, Fort Collins, or sorry, I have been to Fort Collins, but Fort Lewis College from Colorado, Northern Arizona University from Arizona, Noeda Hadatsasanish College from North Dakota, Queen's University from Ontario, Canada, University of California, Los Angeles from California, University of North Carolina, Pembroke from North Carolina, and University of Washington, Seattle from Washington. There you have
Which
it.
is
Those
really,
are our teams.
and we're pretty excited for the number of teams that are able to participate this year in light of the fact that we are still in the pandemic and a lot of uncertainty. So really pleased with the number of folks that have been able to register and sign up and submit their NOIs and participate. So what is going to be supplied to the teams? You will be receiving $4,000 that can go toward your project or travel. And so the reimbursements for that will be on March 4th and May 9th. So that's when you would submit your reimbursement request. You will receive launch weekend hotel accommodations and select meals. So each team will receive 3 rooms for 3 nights per team at the competition hotel, and we do secure that hotel in a block. And that is what you are reimbursed for. If you need more rooms or more nights, then that will come out of your budget. The last day to secure lodging will be February 28th, 2022. So you will want to have your team roster ready to go by that date. Select meals. We will be providing Friday breakfast and lunch and Saturday lunch and dinner. Each team will receive a low power rocket that you will be asked to put together and launch. And if you're a new team, you'll receive a launch pad. If you're an old team and you don't have that launch pad, please let Connie know and she will make that available for you as well. And the flight demo deadline is January 24th. So it's a quick turnaround. We will work with teams though, if there are issues because of weather or something of that nature, just talk with us. New teams receive 2 rocketry reference books, which are called Model Rocket Design and Construction and Modern High Power Rocketry 2. If it is your first year participating, we want to encourage you to keep that copy. That's yours to keep, and it will come in handy, for many years to come. Competition ejection charges we provide. We'll also give you a rocket motor and the casing when you come to Kenosha to participate in the competition. And then also we'll give you, I didn't update this, but we do give you feedback. In the Gateway program, you will not have to submit reports, but we will be giving you feedback at your virtual presentations and with your fly sheets, and we'll go over that in just a minute. So additional F&L support. Some teams find that $4,000 is a challenge, or they want more things that aren't within that budget. And so some of the things that you can, and I'm fixing on the fly, request would be from your space grant. They may be able to give you funding for scholarships for students to be able to receive money during the academic year. Sometimes the academic institutions want to support you. Student groups, industry. Just remember that funding should be above and beyond the F&L funding. So your goal is to spend the $4,000 first, and then if that isn't enough, go above and beyond, because we're held, NASA wants us to spend out our money as well. So we really want you to spend your $4,000. Non-F&L additional support. So things to think about if the money isn't enough that we're providing for you. Travel to and from Kenosha for the mentors, additional team members. Stipend if you have a Tripoli Rocketry Association or National Association Rocketry Mentor, and you want to bring them along, but your budget doesn't support that, this may be one way to bring them along. Mobile tools, so battery operated for the rocket group, for you know, hammer, Dremel, drill, screwdriver, scale. Those are all things that you may want to bring to the rocket launch and have on hand. A traveling toolbox to bring to launch weekend. We have some folks on this call who have been gracious and kind to share what they have because they drive to the competition. But that's something that you could consider to have as your team, for your team alone. Safety equipment, you know, what PPE do you need? Do you need masks? Do you need goggles? Do you need gloves in your workshop area? Launch to Learn workshop at an academic institution. So if your school can't participate in the virtual Launch to Learn, and we'll go over that in just a minute, and you would maybe like to have somebody come to your school, that may be a way to utilize outside resources and have one of our folks come and host that, or conduct that for you. If you want your team to receive level 1 rocket motor and certification fees. So typically there's a $10 fee at the launch site to receive your certification fee, about $50 to $100 for your motor, and then the rocket itself. And then also sometimes it's, you know, they can go on for that second certification. So those are 2 areas that you could use additional support for. Outreach events. I know that Fort Lewis College, they take and host an event on campus with the Estes rockets. They have everybody build one and launch them all together. That takes care of their need to launch the rocket for the program, but also is a way for them to recruit additional students to participate on their team. And then team shirts and jackets, etc. I know several years ago, Chief Dull Knife College, they had said that, you know, every year they make sure all of their team members have jackets, and then love it when they can get patches to put on it. So that could be something that you cannot use our funds for. So launch weekend is April 22nd through the 25th. It is currently scheduled for Carthage College, and teams arriving on Thursday. We will kick off Friday with a breakfast early in the morning, and then we will have partial workday. We'll have a motor build workshop. We'll have breakout sections, final safety inspections, and oral presentation. So a jam-packed day with lots going on, but confident that we can get through all of that. So it's a little different design for some of our old timers, but I think that it's going to work really well, and folks are going to like it. So Saturday is launch day, and then we'll have a closing banquet at Carthage College, with Sunday being our rain date. So timetable, what are some things that your team needs to consider as you plan for this semester? The first would be the reviews, and those are some important time frames. So PDR, your preliminary design report. You will not have to do a presentation or a report, as we had said earlier, but you'll do a fly sheet, and Mark will be talking about that in just a little bit. So that will be due January 24th. And then we will have the PDR virtual presentation, which you'll be given a time for your team to join us via Zoom, and they will present where they're at on their rocket. And there's a template to follow. And again, we'll go over that. Some other key things that I think are important for you to consider attending. If you look at the lower half of the screen, on January 18th, February 8th, February 15th, March 22nd, March 29th, we have webinars. And those webinars are going to be excellent opportunities for your team to learn more about rocketry. We've already conducted some, which would be grant management, project management, structures, RockSim, and they're all available on our website under tools and tips for the First Nations launch page. And you can listen to the recordings as we record all of our webinars. So key changes for 2022. We have Gateway Challenge, and you know, I'm really excited to have this new challenge for teams to be able to participate in. I go back to, certain folks telling me, I just want to come and I want to have fun and the reports are too much, et cetera. Or maybe, we have a hard time with recruiting and we can't keep students from first semester to second semester. And a 1 semester build would be just work so much better for us. And so that's what prompted us to consider how can we meet that need for teams. And so Gateway Challenges is our response. We have the webinars, we've added more of those. Fly sheet submission is required, and I am saying that required. That is for all teams. It's more of the technical side of the rocket, and that helps Mark and Frank and Genevieve to know what they have, that you've been able to fulfill what the goals of the competition are, or the engineering parameters, and if there's any questions, they can address that. The handbook has appendices providing much more support and guidance. We have the mentor requirement for TRA and NAR, really to help you guys, especially if for any reason in the pandemic we need to go local for launches for competition weekend. And then RockSim submission required from all teams at each cycle. We have the reimbursement process, and we are in the process of forming and creating new training videos. So COVID-19 safety plan, we ask that every team submit or think about local launch site. So if we cannot travel to Kenosha for the competition, where am I going to be able to launch? Where's our team going to be able to launch a rocket? And how are we going to make that happen? Having a local mentor, somebody who is certified, also local TRA NAR prefecture. So having somebody that's certified at the motor level that you'll be using on your rocket, so they'll be able to handle that rocket and go with you to launch day. And so that's extremely important as you think about April and launching that rocket. And last year we did do the local launch option, and so we're prepared to be able to move that direction if we need to come closer to April. So things that we're thinking about for COVID-19 is, safety plans. So there will be launch site protocol, and that can be different from, this month to in 3 months. So we follow the guidelines of the DNR and what they're requiring, along with EEE Rocketry Association. Carthage College protocol, and currently the protocol is masking and trying to keep your distance. So we are in person right now, and so we are moving ahead in that vein. But we also are planning virtual, hybrid, and in-person options for the competition. So other things to think about: how do you utilize your team structure for assignments? And if you are virtual or you can't meet, and I know that is an issue for some schools. So how do we, who's in charge of the RockSim, and who's going to be in charge of the safety plan, and who's going to be in charge of, taking care of the payload? And so parsing that out in between different individuals will help the team be successful. Having weekly virtual meetings so folks can get together, talk about where they're at, and be able to make sure that you meet deadlines along the way. Creating an online lab or logbook. So if students can't get together, how do we find, something, a Google document or something of that nature, so everybody is aware of what's being worked on, so that you can meet your goals and also not have things fall in between the cracks. And what happens if you have limited lab access? So that's something that you need to think about. So if we can't get into the lab, how are we going to put the rocket together? And so having a plan and stating that and putting it forward for us, so we know that you guys are thinking about that. And then remember, don't begin to build until CDR. Really caution people to wait until then. But we are also aware of the supply chain shortage and the difficulty of getting product. So finding that balance of not moving too quickly, making sure that you've gotten the full approval from our team. But you guys shouldn't have too many problems just because it's limited to those three options.
All right. So we this year have created a Discord for First Nations launch. In the chat, I'm going to send the link for you to join. Discord is essentially a portal to ask questions and give feedback. Please don't be shy in there. I love to see people messaging and asking questions. There are different text channels and unlimited voice channels for teams to collaborate. I have been posting FNL content and announcements in the updates channel for all team members. It is a place for you guys to network with other teams and for professionals and students to mix, and it is a safe space. And if you have any questions about it, please reach me, sparker1 at spacegrant at carthage.edu. And I'll also be giving a Discord webinar later this month. So thank you.
Frank?
Hello, everyone. Glad everyone could attend that could have. Turn my camera on here. Come on, camera, turn on. There we go. Okay, the Gateway design objectives. The teams are required to design and construct a dual deploy high power rocket from the following list. You have 3 rockets to choose from: the Lock Precision 4-inch diameter Phantom 348 kit, or the Mad Cow 4-inch diameter Super DX 3 kit, or the Lock Precision 4-inch diameter Patriot kit. Teams may customize their kit with special add-ons provided by the manufacturer. This means that order the kit or pick a kit that you want. You can talk to the vendor if you want specific add-ons to it, like a particular payload or a special payload section for it. Talk to the manufacturer. They are willing to help you out 100%. They're a bunch of good people. The Pyro, the team may customize their kit, special add-ons, of course, like I said, by the manufacturer. Pyro energetics or a Jolly Logic altimeter can be used for main deployment and recovery. There's no payload associated with this challenge, with focus being on safe and a complete selection, simulation, procurement, assembly, fabrication, and flight of the rocket kit. The rocket shall reach an apogee of about 2,500 feet AGL. Next. This is your going to be your flight profile for the Gateway Challenge. As you can see, we have liftoff. This is pretty small. You may mount a camera if you wish to your rocket. It's not required, but it's pretty cool though. As the rocket takes off, you can tell as it gets close to apogee, we have a motor burnout. We have the coast phase, which will arc the rocket over to a gentle slow down deployment at apogee and deploy a drogue parachute at apogee. And of course, our apogee is 2,500 feet for this competition. As a rocket descends on the main chute, shall be deployed no less than 300 feet AGL for a gentle landing at Richard Bond Park. Competition criteria for all teams. All projects during the construction process must have a minimum of 1 scheduled virtual inspection with a designated safety officer, which is probably me or Mark, most likely. All projects must be 90% constructed and ready to fly 2 weeks prior to the launch date. 90% equals airframe, motor mount, fins, payload, airframe, couplers, bulkheads should be permanently attached. In other words, if I would put a motor in it, it should be ready to fly. All projects must be designed to enable the motor deployment charge as a backup recovery system at apogee. All final competition projects must have a documented flight stable rock simulation profile. Photographs are required during the construction of the motor mount and the fin fillet assembly process to ensure proper construction techniques have been achieved. All projects must have an aerodynamic design. No odd rocks. Note, no flying pyramids, saucers, or spools. I'm sure Lock Precision and Madcal will make sure that will not happen. The center of pressure, CP, and the center of gravity must be indicated and marked on the rocket. So the RSO will understand the stability of the rocket. Who's got the fly sheets?
I guess it's me, hey guys. Yeah, everyone. So new for this year. I know a lot. So there's some returning advisors, and there's a new advisor here on the call. So this year we're doing fly sheets. I think the example's on the next page. Yeah, we'll go back. Yeah, so each cycle, ignore the text. The text was written for the Moon and Mars teams. For your team, however, it's due at PDR, CDR, and FR. So you only need to submit the fly sheet 3 times, not 4. There's a template for the fly sheets in the Moon and the reports and templates. There's a link there. If Sarah could put that link in the chat, that would be appreciated for you guys to find, as well as all the other report templates are in there. But the reports are for the Moon and Mars teams. For Gateway, again, you don't have to do a report. Feel free to look at the templates and download them if you'd like. So for the fly sheet, just fill in as much information as you can at each cycle. So I believe on January 24th, the fly sheets are due for preliminary design. So you'll go through the fly sheet, you'll see a bunch of information. It'll ask about, it could ask about your vehicle specifications, your diameter, your length. It could ask about your motor specifications, what's your thrust to weight ratio. So just, have a look ahead of time of the fly sheet, see what information is requested, and then work to that by that deadline. So then on that deadline, February 24th, we'll review your fly sheet and we'll give you feedback. If you're doing good, you'll learn a little bit more. And then the goal is by FRR in April 4th, you'll have everything filled out on the fly sheet. So that's what the point of the fly sheets are. And the fly sheets are basically just all the rocketry aspects of the competition. And they're kind of, general, based on general rocketry rules of thumb found anywhere in the country. So your mentor will also be able to understand the fly sheet to be able to help you fill those out as well. So much of the information will come from your simulation data or from vendor research. So there's certain numbers. It might ask, what's your expected apogee? It might ask, what's your max acceleration or max velocity? So that's why you're required to do the RockSim simulations. So you'll get all that data. You'll understand the data before you go and purchase and build your rocket. And then also just vendor research. So some of the fly sheet data will ask for your altimeters or your tracking device. So make sure you do some research and understand, the size of the tracking device, what power it takes, if there's a switch involved, and record those down on your fly sheet when you submit it. And then myself, Frank, and Genevieve will review your fly sheet and get you back your feedback within a week or 2, so you can make improvements and changes. So next, so it's just a little screenshot of the fly sheet showing the upper half. The template itself is a 2-pager. When you download it, you put in your school name, you put in which cycle it is, and then you just kind of fill in the blanks. And then you'll submit that through your WSGC portal. I think Connie and Sarah and Christine are better at explaining how to submit those forms. You'll probably send out a reminder reminding you how and when to submit those fly sheets at each cycle. Next. So virtual presentations. So these kind of coincide with the Moon and Mars presentations as well. It's in the same time frame for the Gateway teams. You'll use the same template that the Moon and Mars teams use. So again, it's found on the website. It's the same link. It's the reports and templates page on the WSGC website. But make sure you're looking at the PowerPoint virtual template. So look at that. It does a little preview of the page even. So if you have questions about which template to look for, ask myself or Frank, and we'll point you in the right direction. So again, with a virtual presentation, fill in as much the content as possible. So kind of go through the slides. I think there's something like 10 slides, and the first slide will ask you about your launch vehicle information. So put in some text, put in some pictures. If you got a screenshot of what your rocket looks like from the vendor site. It might ask you a little bit about recovery. Have you thought about parachutes? It'll ask you about electronics. So put all that information in your presentation, and then you'll be scheduled a time to present to us on the week of January 31st to February 5th, I believe, 4th. And then myself, Frank, and Genevieve again, we'll review that with you. We'll ask you questions to make sure you're kind of designing in the right direction, making the right design choices. You understand what's expected. And then you can ask us questions as well during those virtual presentations. So every team member should participate in the presentation. So make sure your entire team is there. It's a virtual presentation. It's preferred if you're kind of all in the same room together. It's a little bit easier, I think, to present that way. But again, if COVID kind of restricts that and you need to be, calling in separately, you can do that as well. But every team member should be, speaking a slide and practicing their presentation skills to us. I think you'll get 10 minutes to present. And then we ask questions for 10 minutes. So you'll get your presentation slot in the next couple weeks.
It's
From
15
Connie.
minutes of presentation with 10 minutes of question.
Oh, sorry. Is there
That's okay.
15 on there?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. My bad.
That's okay.
I'm on my phone here, so I don't want to hold my face right to the. Then you guys see
That's
my.
okay.
I'm like, hey, how's it? Next. Most of you guys have been through this before, so it's nothing really new to the couple of the returning teams. Competition presentation. So basically on launch weekend, we call it the competition presentation or the flight readiness review portion. On launch weekend, you'll do a 10-minute presentation. We change it up on this one. And this one's again in front of the panel. Judges only is kind of myself, Frank, and there might be some industry judges on the panel. We're still working on what the panels will look like on launch weekend. So same thing. It's kind of like your final presentation, where you present your built rocket before flight.
Okay, I had to unmute myself there. The competitions that are awards or prizes will be the aesthetic award. These are pretty much similar. We have a couple new monetary prizes that we haven't had before, but the aesthetic award is to the team whose rocket has the most innovative and professional appearance. Team Spirit Award, and that team is chosen by the peers that are at the competition. The team that shows interactive spirit, helpfulness, and cooperation. The Judges Award is chosen by the judges as for the team who met the goals of the program and exemplified hard work and determination. The Next Step Award is up to $15,000 for the project team travel award with an invitation to Rock On at Wallops Flight Facility. And then the Outreach Award, this is newer in the last 2 years, is awarded for $500. And the Patch Design Award now has a monetary award of $100, as well as that patch being sewn into an actual patch that everyone in the competition will receive. And then the team advisor stipend is up to $1,000, and the teams must meet the conditions of participation. So it'd be $500 during the year, and then $500 being at the competition, and that can be split with a co-advisor if you have one.
And I am just going to clarify because we just received an update this afternoon on Rock On. the Next Step Award. So that is Gateway teams are eligible. It doesn't mean that a Gateway team will be the team selected, but they are eligible to win. And they have decided to go virtual this year. And so they are going to begin the process actually the end of January through May. And then there is a small possibility they will invite teams to Wallops Flight Facility in June for the flight, and it will just really depend on where we are with the pandemic. But just wanted to let you know that that is going to be an on-campus event this year. So First Nations Launch teams, we highly recommend that each team be made up of approximately 4 to 6 individuals. Now, does that mean you cannot participate if you have less than 4 or if you have more than 4? No, that's just an ideal team size to help everybody to be able to work together, but also when you just choose to travel to Kenosha, then you will have the ability to afford for everybody to attend. Advisors, we do have a couple of meetings, telecons scheduled for your assistants to be able to answer questions for you. And we also want to encourage you to maintain that student-driven project, that this is really to be driven by the students, much less than the advisors. You're supposed to be part of it, just not driving the program or the build of your rocket. For new schools and new advisors, if you are so inclined, we can partner you or pair you up with a veteran advisor, and they are able to answer questions, give you additional support. And if that is something that you're interested in, just give Mark, send Mark an email. He's been in contact, I think, with almost everybody, and he will get you set up with somebody. Team lead, that individual is to be at the meetings, at the telecons, asking for assistance. We send all of our information to the team lead, and they are in charge of disseminating that information out to the team. So that person really is the FAQ person, right? They're going to get the frequently asked questions. They're going to ask us. We're going to send it back between the advisor and the team lead. So choose that person wisely that you know is going to communicate details about the program and the project to the rest of the team. And then Space Grant. If you haven't done so already, you know, we typically try to inform your local Space Grant that you've been selected to participate in First Nations Launch, but we encourage you to reach out to them. Let them know that you're part of the NASA Student Artemis Challenge, and that they may be able to assist you, whether it's with project funds, travel funds, or other resources that you may not even anticipate. Usually they're pretty excited when you're participating in the program. So team recruitment, this often can be a struggle. And so how do you get students to participate and engage this year? And so you may be able to schedule, you know, a few presentations on campus or at different club meetings, and whether it's in person or virtual, either having an alumni talk. We have videos on the website that are pretty engaging of, you know, trying to recruit students to attend, show that as a possibility. Hold an event, again, if possible. Again, doing a presentation, maybe inviting an FNL alumni to speak or return, or somebody that's been involved with your school, and that can be a way to recruit students. Reach out to faculty for assistance. Maybe they can help you and share recruiting emails with some of their students in their classrooms, and tap into some of the new applicant pools. Use excitement of the Launch to Learn workshop, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes. And that has been, we have found over and over again that students attending Launch to Learn get really excited, and that's infectious. And then they want to share that opportunity with other folks on campus, and they want to be involved. So that is really a great way to recruit for your teams. And then if you have another idea of what you might, if you're a seasoned team, what you've done to recruit, or some ideas that you may have, please feel free to put it in the chat and share it with us. The training videos that we're working on there's an overview just about what is the competition. avionics, recovery systems, rocket assembly, rock sim, range and motor safety. We had hoped that they would be done by the first of the year, but we've been delayed a little bit, but I'm hoping within, probably the next 6 weeks that we will be able to have those launched and revealed for everybody. So Launch to Learn workshop, what is it? It is an introductory rocket workshop, and it is ideal for students who have never been a part of the program, for advisors who maybe have been a part of the program but have never received their level 1 rocket certification. They can participate in this. It's a 2-day kit rocket build. We provide a level 1 certification through either EEE Rocketry Association or National Association of Rocketry. If you are interested, you need to let us know by January 7th, 2022, okay? We need to know how many advisors, how many students are committed to attending. And we provide all the materials, all the supplies, F&L, that's on us. And the link that I have here, and I'll quickly put that in the chat, is where you or your students can go to register. We recommend advisors, if you haven't been through the process, attend. It's a great way for you to get that certification. Team lead, also highly recommend your team leads participate as well. And then one other student, so that you're grooming the next student to maybe come into that role of team lead or be able to take on extra duties to help the team lead. So, and then we have an optional certification on launch weekend. It's not everybody has to do it. It's just an opportunity for individuals that want to participate. So if you can't attend the virtual workshop, you can do a certification build on your own. And you can build a level 1. If you're already level 1 rocket certified, you can build a level 2 rocket. And so the goal is you have to, you are the individual that has to build it. Nobody else can build it for you. You are required, if you do it on your own, you have to buy the rocket yourself. Mark, Genevieve, Frank, they can all help you. You're required to build it individually. It's not a team effort. It has to be 90% ready when you come to the competition weekend. We do our certification flights on Sunday in the morning. So when you're planning travel, plan on leaving Sunday afternoon or later in the day. Some folks will even leave Monday because that Sunday is our rain date. If you want to get a level 2 certification, there is a test that needs to be taken, and we usually will give that at 8 a.m. on the workshop day. That schedule may change just a little bit with the new process of how we're doing Friday, but we do have to give that test, and Bob Justice is the one who will administer that. And then if you pass the test, you are then given the opportunity to fly the certification rocket on the next day. Cost is $10, and then you would need to purchase your own motor. We do have sponsors for your membership for the first year. And so we need to know if that's the option you want to go, the route you want to go. February 28th will be the last day to register or let us know that you want to, you or a student on your team wants to go through the certification process. You can look at EEE. We tend to promote to EEE because EEE is our host. Doesn't mean you have to go EEE. There is a potential of an R certification as well, but if you want to learn more, I just put up the EEE website so you can learn a little bit more about that certification. All right, team scheduling. Genevieve, I know you came back on. Are you available?
I do not think she is.
All right, I can take this one. So team scheduling. So create a project schedule. You know, early on, it can be Gantt charts, Excel spreadsheets, something of that nature. Because you want to meet the report deadlines or the fly sheet deadlines and when things need to be submitted. And we want everybody to have that safe and successful flight. And so by having a project schedule, we are confident that you're going to be able to have a safe flight. So it can be simple. it can be detailed, whatever is going to work best for your team. And that's the importance. How is it going to work for your team that you can communicate in between the individuals? And you want to have one person in charge of making sure it's regularly updated, and so that you can anticipate any delays in the schedule. And, you know, I referenced the supply chain and some of the difficulties in getting some of the things that you may need for your rocket. So keeping that in mind as you're planning your schedule will be important. And then also making adjustments if we cannot come to Wisconsin because of the pandemic and you have to schedule a local launch. What are some things that you're going to have to do to be able to get to the local launch site and launch your rocket? And then also, you'll want, you know, make sure you have purchase deadlines, build deadlines, presentation deadlines, as you're looking at those throughout the rest of the semester. We did have a project management webinar, and I'll put that also in the chat so that you have a link to that webinar. Tools and tips. So things that we have under tools and tips that you may need. Media release form. There is a media release form that is on the registration for First Nations launch, but for advisors or the mentor who may not be on the website, if there are any pictures with individuals, we will need to have a media release form on file in order for us to be able to utilize that photo. There's the competition handbook, the reimbursement forms that you will need come May and March. Any other forms will be on the tools and tips page, and I will again add that for you. You're right, Mark, that's pretty cool how it comes up like that, isn't it? And then training modules that will be up on there. And then just in general, what are some of the general resources that you might need? Maybe you have questions about, what do I bring? What type of clothing do we need? What is the weather like? What airport do I go into? What transportation is there from the airport to the hotel? So the FAQ link that I just put up, the last one, will help you to be able to find that information.
Okay, it's me, advisor support. Yeah, I've been in touch with most of you, the Gateway teams. You guys all know that I'm your kind of go-to person if you have any questions about the challenge or the handbook. So make sure that the students and the teams are downloading the handbook from the website and getting familiar with that as well. We always tend to overlook that piece of information. Some teams go rather far into the year without realizing there's actually a handbook that they should be referring to. So if we could put that link to the handbook in the chat or on the website, that would be great. I don't know if it's in there or not. I think I had it on one of my slides once upon a time. So you guys are doing good. Everyone has a mentor. So your mentor could help you, with your design and your procurement. Your mentor can help you with any local launches if you need that. Yeah, and then if you need advisor support, if you want a mentor, if you want to be paired up with a veteran advisor, reach out to me and I could do that as well. We also encourage outreach efforts. So work with your school, work with your students to recruit not only new team members, but just to get rocketry support in the community, whether it's going to your local high school, to get them fired up, thinking about STEM and STEM careers and STEM education. And then next step opportunities and other opportunities. So beyond First Nations launch, NASA, there's other rocketry competitions out there, such as NASA Student Launch Initiative and Spaceport America Cup. And then we talked a bit about Rock On. So if you have questions about those as an advisor, if you think your school wants to do a little more or is interested in pursuing other opportunities, let me know. Reach out to me. And yeah, that's all I have for that. And then mentors. So like I said, I've worked with a couple of you over the last couple of weeks here, months, to find you a mentor, rocketry mentor, experienced mentor. I believe you all have mentors. So each team requires a mentor. So that's kind of new for this year. I know some of the returning advisors who've been out for a couple of years. So now we require the teams to have mentors. It comes in real handy when because of the COVID situation lately, where we do have to do a local launch, to know that you're in good hands with a local mentor, Triply or NAR. Same thing with the certification flights. When we do a virtual workshop, you're expected to do your own launch at home. We'll end up shipping the motors to your mentor. So it's a good thing you all have mentor, and hopefully you've updated the WSGC portal with your mentor's name and contact information. So yeah, the advisor helps find the local mentor. I think we've done that. You all have mentors. Let me know if you got questions or how that mentor relationship's going, and hopefully, yeah. See the mentor webinar. Oh, we have a mentor webinar as well. So that's on the tools and tips page. You can review. We had that in, I believe, September. So just give you ideas of what's expected, what benefits of having a mentor. And then also too, for the Gateway teams, we've already had a bunch of webinars in the fall time that are accessible to you. We had one on grant management. So I think slide 8, Christine listed off a bunch of ideas of what you can and can't spend on. There's an entire hour of Christine talking about what you can and can't spend on. Grant management webinar that's on the tools and tips page. We also did a structures webinar. We did a project management webinar. So check out those webinars if you're an advisor, and share the webinars with your team, your students, to make sure you guys are up to speed and making the most of the resources we produce for you.
Okay, in terms of reimbursement, you have 2 options that you will have to choose when you're filling out your award acceptance letter, if you haven't done that already. The first option is that you would be reimbursing through your university or college. You would work with them and they would be sending us the quarterly invoices themselves, or you can turn in your reimbursements yourself. So the individual, so might be the advisor or the team lead or an individual on your team reimbursing for expenses that they had. Those deadlines are March 4th and 9th. And since COVID, we can now submit those digitally. They don't have to be paper through the mail. So you can submit your digital receipts and reimbursement forms through using the reimbursement instructions, which is the next slide.
But before you go there, Connie, I'm just going to highlight as well that make sure, I know that some of our teams the students have come to us saying, well, I'm having a hard time. We need supplies or we need items, but we selected option 1, which was reimbursing through the university or college. And because the grant money had not been set up, they didn't have authorization to spend the money yet. So make sure that, students are aware if that's the selection that's chosen. And if things need to be purchased prior to that being set up at your campus, then we would need authorization from your campus saying it's okay for them to spend money and seek a reimbursement. And we understand that will come off of the $4,000. So just wanting to make sure that that doesn't happen a lot, but we have found that some teams have run into that snafu.
And then submitting the reimbursements. Just make sure that you go onto our website and you get the project's expense form or the travel expense forms from the website so that you're sure it's the correct form that is current right now, and make sure that you also read through quickly the project expense form and travel expense form instructions, because if you fail to put an initial on there or list who the meal, the money at a restaurant was spent for or something like that, it can delay the entire reimbursement. So just reading the instructions is very important so that you do it correctly. Then you will send your reimbursement to me. And again, all those forms are on tools and tips on the website.
All right. So One thing that was kind of mentioned throughout the webinar here is a patch contest. So essentially students, they can create some sort of artwork for a patch and submit that to us, and we will potentially use it. Individuals or groups can create this. We have announced this, the details of this contest back in November. I believe it's on the FNL site. And all submissions are due February 21st of 2022. And here you can see some lovely patches designed by some of our previous participants.
So, I'm all about promoting FNL. So I am FNL. What does that mean? Your team can put together a 30-second video clip highlighting what they've done this year as part of their program or being part of the program. And that's something that we may then highlight at our banquet or at our welcome breakfast. Photos are quintessential for us to tell the story about this program. So please, 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 please send us your photos and upload those to your grant management page. We usually ask you to submit at least 2 to 3. You can submit more, that's great. The one thing to remember as you look in both of the pictures that are on the page right now, they're up close, they're personal. It is students that are engaged, they're holding items, they're just having fun. And that's those are ideal photos for us to be able to utilize, whether it's on the website, whether we have to submit these to NASA. NASA may put them on the Artemis Student Challenge webpage. So please, please, please share those with us. Tag us, tag Wisconsin Space Grant Consortium in the videos, in your photos, if you put them on social media, and tell the story about how FNL has made a difference. That's what gives me goosebumps all the time, is when I hear the story, the difference that this program has made for students. And we'd love to be able to feature those on launch weekend. Resources. As we conclude here with a minute, you have the FNL website, you have the competition handbook, you have the calendar, and then you have those templates, which I believe we shared a little bit earlier, but I will go ahead and put them on one more time to make sure that you have them for your fly sheet. And that, in a nutshell, is it. Does anybody have any questions?
Christine, I'd just like to add that I put the photography guide. So if you're looking for good examples of photos that we're looking for, click on that photography guide to find that.
Perfect. Thank you very much. All righty. Does anybody have any questions?
Don't forget, we have some interesting webinars coming up in the next few weeks. Be quite wonderful if you could attend it. It's very informative.
Yep, good point, Frank. I believe on January 11th, we have the payload design webinar, and I believe our host is going to be Aaron Yazzie from NASA JPL. And then we have avionics the following week, and the week after, or let's see, a couple weeks after that, we have recovery. So yeah, make sure that you plan to attend. They're all at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on Zoom, and same time, same place every week.
Can I also jump on here? So one of the things, I know I've talked to some of the teams already. As you choose your rocket, you choose your motor, and you start thinking about how you're going to build this thing and what options you're going to put in it. You're not limited. You can add extra features. So you can add a camera, or you can add something else like a GPS tracker or anything else that you want to purchase and fly in your rocket. However, we just ask that you kind of list those things. So if you have an idea what else you want to add to the rocket, make sure to put it either in the fly sheet if there's a slot for it, or put it in your presentation, your PowerPoint. So kind of just list, hey, we're thinking about putting in a GPS, or we're gonna built something and we're going to swap out this nose cone and we're going to put a 3D printed or build something to, you know, because there's no reports this year that, you know, for the Gateway teams for us to be clarify or, you know, to review. We want to be clear that what you guys are doing or what you guys are proposing to do in your rockets and your builds.
I
Thanks,
have
Mark.
one question,
Yeah.
Christine.
Yes,
I
sir.
might have missed it. Do we get to use a 38 or can we use a small 54 motor?
No, you're only limited to 38 millimeter motors.
All right,
There's a list on the handbook, I think, I don't know, 6 or 7 motors.
There's an appendix now, Kelly, that we determine a pre-selected list of motors that you have to choose from.
Yeah.
It's appendix A1 in the competition handbook.
all right, that'll work. But they're all 38, so I know the tube.
Yep.
Yeah, they're all
Yep.
38s.
That's all I needed.
Excellent. Any other questions?
I'm a little late to the party on the Launch to Learn workshop. Could you fill in exactly how that's going to work virtually?
Sure. So what we do, Steve, is we will do it just like this. We'll be on Zoom. And so typically Friday evening from 6 to 8, we will invite those who are participating to join us. And prior to that, what we're going to do is we send each person a rocket kit, and they will receive the rocket kit. They will receive the epoxy, the tools, anything that they need to be able to build that rocket, they will receive in the mail. Some schools will choose to do that all together in one location. Others, due to COVID, may need to have students participate from, you know, their individual homes. So we'll meet typically from 6 to 8 p.m. on Friday evening, get through, you know, some preliminary steps with the build, giving time for the epoxy to dry. And then we will meet again on Saturday. I believe it's 10 to 6, but I can't remember if I've seen the latest schedule. So, so it's a little bit of a long day. We have certain breaks scheduled throughout the day, but we are able to complete the rocket fully built by the end of Saturday. So it is an all day on Saturday, 8 hours. And then there will be 2 options. Option 1 is everybody who participates may launch that rocket locally to receive their rocket certification. And so we work with you to work with your mentor that you have for First Nations launch and that local launch site, so that we can send out the rocket and the motor casing so that you'll be able to conduct the flight. And we'll also ask certain things have to be done. So you'll have to be required to take pictures, show us that you've had safe flight, things like that. And then fill out the forms so that we can submit the request for membership or certification from the either TRA or NAR. And so that's it. Now, if you choose not to do the local launch, you know, right away, there is the option that any person can bring that rocket to the competition weekend and we can fly them that weekend for certification. Does that answer enough of your questions?
And again, the registration is on the website and is due by the end of Sunday.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I put the wrong date, Connie?
I don't, yes.
I think I put Friday, so my apologies.
It's the 7th and it's the 9th. The sooner the better, though.
Yeah, and I'm going to share that screen with you folks just so you know what it is. So here's the rocket certification. It is the IS Caliber ISP 38 millimeter. And so you build it, you're going to learn some basic rocketry terms. We'll go through a RockSim simulation to help students know how to use RockSim. And that'll be part of what you received also is that RockSim license, and then the launch and certification. Let me play this for you. Let's see, I think, oh goodness, I know there's a way to do this. What is it?
And Steve, that's a disposable motor. It doesn't come with a, you know, it's not reloadable.
And Also, participants, students need to register and apply before they register for Launch to Learn to be a part of your team. And then you need to have them listed on your NOI.
All right, who can remember how we do the audio settings to share a video?
Not
Me and
me.
Mark. can
I don't know.
make checks.
Call up Danielle.
Me too. Oh, man. Well, you guys will get to see, we'll do that, because that's about what I have. I don't think I have optimized.
If they have the link, they can just go and
Yeah,
play it
just
on their
run.
own.
You're right, they can't, but I get really excited about it.
I have a question.
Sure, go for it.
I muted there. You said, and I might have missed it, for the acceptance of the award letter.
Yes.
Did you email that or is it on the web thing so I can get it done tomorrow or next day? I'll have. school.
Oh, well, have we sent Kelly his, Connie?
I thought that everyone that
My
sent it
memory's not that good.
already
so
received their award letter.
I think I did,
I
but then
think
do I have to send it back or not?
You have to upload it to your grant management page, Kelly. So if to remember how to do that,
Yeah, I just log in, yeah.
yep, and you're gonna upload
Right.
it right to there. So that should be fairly easy.
Yep.
So, and
we
Can
just
you
need that-
resend one, Connie, just so then I get too many emails, but I'll dig for it.
oh, we can send it to you.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, we can send you your award letter. That's fine.
and we
Yeah, I'll
can
get
send
it
to
done in
Steve as
next
well.
week.
Steve, I don't have yours done yet because I have to add your information into my spreadsheet. So as soon as I get that done, I'll send it over to you, okay?
And I'm signing up a couple more students tonight. That's still okay, right?
For the Launch to
Rocket-
Learn?
Yeah, no,
Yep.
just for the
Yep.
Rocket team.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I've been
you're fine.
gathering them over Christmas rapidly, trying to find them, so.
Okay, yeah, no problem. You have until, when is the final roster due, Connie?
February 28th, I think.
Oh, well, I'm getting mine in a week, so hopefully.
Yeah, and it really serves you the best to have that team set, set, because you guys are a little bit on a compressed timeline and trying to make sure that you've got everybody engaged right away. So perfect. And so I was going to finish on the website. I mean, you're seeing that was the video, and you guys can watch that on your own, but there is the application. So it's pretty simple. It's your name, your email address, your phone number, what's the role. So are you a co-advisor, team lead, team member, judge, what college, what year in school the individual is or not. Have you submitted the NOI? What challenge are you in? And where can we send? This is the important piece. Where do we send the Rocket materials and supplies? And then the other key component is date of birth. So anybody under 18, it's a whole different ball of wax for us. So we'll need to have that date of birth and then a couple items for you to confirm. So pretty easy. Any other questions? I know we're 15 minutes over, so if you need to
One
go,
last
please.
quick one.
Yep.
I know that like there's a few of the awards or whatever. Will there be like a first, second, third, like will students get a ribbon? Nope.
There will be, there will not be first, second, and third like we do for the other competitions. And everybody typically does get a certificate for participation. Okay. But that's probably about it. This is the growing year, but that's why we wanted to make sure you still have the opportunity to potentially win the Spirit Award, the Aesthetic Award, the Outreach, all of the other awards. The only ones are the first, second, and third, and being able to go to Kennedy Space Center if they open up, because right now we're on kind of hold with that. So good questions. Any other questions? If not, I want to thank everybody for attending.